we're living in the moment. So don't look back, it's a long, long road ahead. A long, long road ahead.
Hello, and welcome back to Better Buddies. I'm your host, RJ. With us this week, it's Tanner.
Howdy.
And John.
Yo.
And James.
Hello.
Our Better Buddies icebreaker. Who is the most intelligent or creative person you know? Don't everybody say me at once.
RJ.
Okay, everybody, 3, 2, 1,
Two.
RJ.
Oh.
Got him.
We got him.
See, and I really have shot myself in the foot with this question. Because I just have like these big long lists of questions that I pulled off the internet, and I don't really check ahead of time what the question's gonna be. Because, like, I have 3 very intelligent, creative people on the show with me today.
And you must pick a favorite.
Probably the least of which.
Like,
Today we will find out who RJ's favorite friend is. And
Oh,
we
shit.
won't leave until he tells us.
Oh,
Who
shit.
the best buddy is.
and
Who
last
is
but not
the best
least,
buddy?
The finale of the show.
the best buddy is...
Oh my god.
No, I gotta save that for when I finally do a tournament. Welcome to the Bud Olympics, where we truly will find out who is the bestest buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the better buddies, then there's the bestest buddiest.
And in a surprise upset, RJ becomes a born again Christian, and his best buddy is Jesus Christ.
Shit, how'd you know?
Nobody wins. I knew it. I just had a feeling.
You're supposed to leak the script, James.
I'm sorry. That was not fair. We'll have to bleep that.
We're gonna have to recut all around it so that I just pick myself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
And I
beautiful.
declare the bestest buddiest is our J. Mitchell.
Wow. Who could have seen it coming?
He is the only one that's been on every episode except for one.
No?
No, he's been
I've
he's
wormed my
been
way into
absent.
every episode.
I thought
Oh,
I thought
really?
you had one where it was just the John and James show.
Except I was the intro stinger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I
cut it close.
stand corrected. Yeah, RJ has to be the bestest buddiest because he's been on every episode of Better Buddies.
And Tanner is the most intelligent, creative person I know.
Hey.
Yay.
Okay, well, see ya.
Well, as I was thinking about like knowing who was going to be on the show today, I was like, I have grown up with John. Period. Like, literally got the Facebook notification yesterday or today of like, here's a memory for you, and it's when before we went off to college, we got family, like our parents and us got dinner together, and my dad took a picture of me and John at dinner, and we look like little babies, like little 18-year-old babies.
We were little babies. We were both very small when we were 18.
And, like, but having known for so long, I know how intelligent and problem-solving minded you are. Like, you have creativity. And it may not be the creativity that some would define of like, oh, I'm gonna paint the goddamn Mona Lisa, but you're a problem solver. And I know you got your own artistic talents. And
Thank
then...
you.
And next, James, known almost as long, having started with kindergarten, and very creatively minded individual, an excellent writer whose book I own and read all the way through, and has been an inspiration for me to pursue my own creative and artistic pursuits. And then third, but definitely not least, Tanner, you, I would argue, are the dark horse in this trio of both intelligence and creativity. in that you are very humble, and in being so humble about your own intelligence and your creative abilities, you downplay them, and thus people would be caught unawares and unexpected when they do start talking with you, particularly when it comes to biology, birds, bugs, but also politics and socio-political topics.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I tend to be good at memorizing things. That I don't think that makes me particularly smart, though.
Memorization doesn't do anyone any good if they're not able to connect the dots on the things they memorized, and I think you're able to.
We shall see.
Like, consider this, Tanner. Yes, you can memorize facts, but you can also recognize when those memorized things are applicable. When it is relevant or connecting those things together. Like, you're not just standing, like, in a corner of a room at a party, and every so often you tilt your head back into the ceiling and just shout out a random fact.
Well, he's going to do that now.
Well, damn it! Yeah, I'm not letting anyone worm out of my compliments.
Yeah, next time I'm at like a social gathering, it'll be like that meme with all the soy jacks and the ones in the corner. And he's going like, just going like, oh yeah, centipedes have a modified front set of legs called toxicognaths.
Damn, do they?
Yes, I think I've mentioned that on the show before.
I don't think you have. That's a
Yeah,
very fun word,
I think
toxicognath.
I think it was in reference to one of my media recommendations of Clint's reptiles.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Get this man's on your trivia team, Stat.
I just went to my first trivia last week. I was not
And?
very good at it.
What? What do you mean?
Yeah,
I don't believe you.
I didn't know the answers to most of the things they asked. I knew like there was one that had like 12 possible answers, and we had to get 6 of them, and I got like 1.
Okay, so you're a sixth of the way there.
That's why you're on a team.
Yeah.
There were several others that I would have mentioned if I had known how many Latin American countries were founding members of the United Nations.
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it turns out it's a lot of them.
Yeah. I mean, hey, you're still doing better than I did when I went to a music trivia for a first date. That did not turn out well.
Oh, that's a bold first date.
To be fair, we didn't know it was music trivia when we showed up. We just went to this like
Okay.
local event space / Asian restaurant that was also had like a bunch of board games. It was like a little board game cafe place. And we showed up to like grab some light dinner and play, like hang out and chat. And it turns out they were doing music trivia. And we were like, oh yeah, sure, we'll do music trivia. But I am bad at music trivia. So I got hard carried.
Look, one of the questions was literally about like animated animals and like who the voice actor was, and I couldn't even remember there was a bird in the Jungle Book.
Oh. To be fair, I don't remember there was a bird in the Jungle Book. There was a bird in the Jungle Book?
Yeah, I guess he's a vulture.
Oh, the vultures, duh.
Well, yeah, the Beatles.
Yeah. Oh, what you gonna do with that, friend? So for the rest of y'all, who is the most intelligent, creative person you know? I'm not letting you worm out of the icebreaker.
Please.
No. Compliment your friends and family. Or a random stranger if you think they're the most intelligent or creative person you know.
Well, do we know them if they're a stranger?
Okay, an associate. There, now they're not a stranger. I want I want at least first names.
What, full government names? And
I want government
geospatial
full name,
coordinates.
social security number, home address, first pet, mother's maiden name, car they drove in high school.
Current latitude and longitude.
and what they had for breakfast.
I don't know necessarily most intelligent or creative, but like perhaps capable
Okay.
or competent. It's my friend Roman.
Oh yeah.
A current Eagle Scout. Lived with him for a few years, but I don't know. He's just really good figuring things out. Doesn't let not knowing something stop him.
Hell yeah.
So yeah,
I've interacted with Roman a little bit. I'm down to agree with that.
yeah, a couple, 2-3 times. He was a swimmer with you guys for a different school.
Yeah.
So that's my answer, and also RJ.
Oh, I reject that answer.
Too bad.
Shit, he got me with my own trap.
I'll have to say, I do actually usually say, if somebody asks me like the smartest person I know, I do usually say John. I would have to say like the most creatively dedicated person I know is definitely you, RJ, just given how long you've
This
kept this
stupid
going
fucking
on.
show.
It's beautiful.
Episode
I
356.
for the sake of like variance, I'll say as well, like that the most emotionally intelligent or adept person I know is definitely my sister. I think she like really understands and cares about people the depth that like is often very surprising because you find it so rarely. Especially when it comes to like writing cards or giving gifts or even just being present with people in like day-to-day social situations. She's always, whenever she comes like over, she's very intent on like, oh, let's make dinner together, let's play like games together, and stuff like that. So I think she, as that kind of presence in my life, has been very like impactful, inspiring.
Hell yeah. Tanner.
Not the like. Well, he's still intelligent, but he does describe himself as naturally incurious. But probably the most creative person I know is Abraham.
Interesting.
Who RJ knows. The other two of you, I don't. But he's like taken on a lot of creative projects.
I don't think
like,
I've ever heard him
some of
describe
them he's
himself
seen
as
through to
incurious.
completion, but he has described himself to me multiple times as being very incurious. Like he doesn't really he doesn't really look into anything kind of science related. He's like, oh yeah, I don't really care.
Fair enough.
It's kind of same with philosophy. I'm like same with like kind of religion and a lot of topics, but he's very creative. And like I don't think that he's not intelligent. He's an intelligent guy. But he's very creative. I've had the what's the word I'm looking for?
The honor, maybe
pleasure. Yeah, I've had the pleasure of working on several of his creative projects with him. He's very funny. Very creative. He's done like several YouTube projects. He just got done writing like a novel length fan fiction.
Hell yeah.
So yeah. I'm gonna say Abraham's my answer.
Knowing Abraham as much as I do, which is not nearly as much as Tanner does, it makes sense the way you've described it. Of the like, he is very, very creative, and I am sure if he needs to know something for whatever it is he wants to make creatively, he will find out whatever he needs to do because he wants it for what he's making.
Yes.
But yeah, is totally incurious. So like, is not just asking questions about life, the universe, and everything to ask questions. He really doesn't care. It's that all just exists. It's cool like that. I got shit to do.
Yeah, his interests aren't as varied, I guess I should say. So, but yeah, and also a good like artist is like a really general word, but like he draws well.
Hell yeah.
A lot of his like YouTube stuff, and even the fan fiction feature artwork that he's done, like as chapter headers and animatic stuff. So, yeah. My answer will be Abraham.
Nice. Our next segment, Better Buddies Recommend, where we recommend a piece of media to enjoy. Who would like to start?
I suppose I can. I
What
don't
you got?
think I recommended this, but I briefly mentioned it last week. You heard of Slay the Spire 1, Slay the Spire 2. Now, there's Slay the Spire the board game, which actually came out before 2. But it's a board game, and it takes 6 hours to play all the way through.
God damn.
Which, I mean, is not atypical for, like, an actual board game, you know.
Have you cracked it open yet?
Oh, yeah. I've played it twice.
Hell yeah.
Well, one time all the way through, one time just through Act 1, out of the 3 acts. That was with 4 people, and that took like 3 hours. So, it's a commitment. It's kind of hard to get people together to play it, but it is very fun. It's based entirely on the first video game.
Okay.
They changed up a lot of the systems to make it work in a board game format, but it's fairly consistent. Similar kind of fun. Basically, all the cards and relics are different.
What would, because it's already kind of card-based, so that part stays the same. What's like the biggest change they've made between, mechanically?
So, combat is very different. The numbers are a lot smaller to make it easier to just like hand compute. Most things, like most regular enemies, don't, in at least Act 1, don't have more than like 8 health. Strikes do 1. Vulnerable and weak only apply for the next hit instead of the whole turn.
Okay.
There's like a row. The combat scales with how many players you have. Like, there's this vertical column, you put each of your character on it, and then for each character, you like flip up an enemy card. And sometimes they have summons, or like other enemies as part of the encounter. So sometimes you're fighting like 12 enemies.
Oh, damn.
As a party. But, so, yeah, that's pretty different. There's a really cool mechanic where, like, you roll a dice at the start of each turn, or a die at the start of each turn, and if it matches a number on your relic, or a number in the enemy's ability block, or something like that, then that happens. So, like, there's a good amount of variance of what happens turn over turn.
Okay.
And, yeah. You can play as any of the 4 original characters.
Defect.
Yeah, defect. Orbs are very different. You get to like choose when to evoke them.
Oh.
It's not like a queue like it is in the video game. So I haven't played defect yet. I've only played Watcher and Silent.
Which one's the Watcher again?
The purple one.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, I look forward to playing it more. I need a better system to like save in progress games. They have a space in the box for it, but like if I want to play with somebody else, I need to take apart people's decks and just write down what they are. So I have to figure that out still. Very minor complaint for a very fun game.
I mean, that's good that if that's your biggest complaint, then it's a minor one. That's pretty good.
Yeah, well, that and the time commitment, but that'll get a little shorter the more we play it.
I mean, you could always compare it to Kingdom Death Monster, where those games just fucking end instantly or drag on for weeks.
True.
And yet I still want to try it someday.
Better Buddies play Kingdom Death Monster when?
Oh my god.
Oh, not a D&D podcast.
I don't know about that, but I did hear about a new game system I want to try out called Roll for Shoes. Oh. It is an extremely rules-light RPG where you start with a level 1 skill of do anything. And whenever you try and do something, you roll. And if you succeed, that becomes a new skill you have. And, like, if you roll a 6 or a perfect roll on whatever it is, it, like, levels up even further. and becomes a level 2, and continues upwards, so that you, instead of rolling, like, every level of the action is how many d6s you roll. The DM always just rolls 1d6, so as you become more and more skilled at something, you're going to succeed more often at it, but it becomes more and more specialized of a thing. And that's basically the entire rule set, so you can do whatever setting you want.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
But no, I'm glad the Slay the Spire board game is so fun and so authentic to the time commitment a game takes.
Takes approximately 6 times as long as a video game run.
It depends on the run. I feel like I've had runs take 2 hours.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I've had something take 2 hours, but I play kind of fast now.
Fair.
I think my average solo Slay the Spire 2 run is like 40 minutes.
Oh, damn. Okay, you're cooking.
But I'm obsessed. And should not be included in standard metrics.
Spire Johnson should not have been accounted for.
Yes.
Much like Spider's George.
Yep.
Yep. Right. Who is next?
I'll go. Just because I was talking about one thing, and I'll just get myself out of the way and take care of it. I'm going to recommend... do I recommend... Yeah, you know what? Hell with it. I was going to save this for when Bree came back on, because I know she'd want to talk about it, but I can talk about it with her the next time I see her. I'm going to recommend a smut book called Ice Planet Barbarians. It was about 6 hours of audiobook, and I can only applaud it because for as vulgarly smutty as it is, it's also an incredibly well-written science fiction survival book.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. The book opens with our main character, Georgie. She's in bed, asleep, gets kidnapped by little gray men, aliens, taken up onto their ship, and it's very quickly made apparent that these aliens are kidnapping women in the, 22 to 25 age range for slavery. But the aliens do not speak English, and there's, one woman there with, a translator that's been tagged into her ear so she can understand them. And the book really kicks you in the teeth a little bit, because going in, I knew this was a smut book. It says so in the description. It's called Ice Planet Barbarians, and it has a picture of a woman that's being held up by a man, and he's in front of her, so you can very clearly tell she's not wearing clothing, but you can't see anything. So, you know the smut is there. And then it's a hardcore kidnapping enslavement section of the book to start you out, where you're going, oh shit, this is just how fucking authentic slavery is, and how fucking terrible it is, and oh my god, what's gonna happen to these people? It's very well written in that it wasn't it wasn't fun to read the enslavement part. That's the first, 2 chapters of the book. Maybe chapter. But, I have to laud it of, oh, it was very well written for how uncomfy it made me, when it's not what I was expecting. And then, as the, alien ship leaves Earth and is flying away and leaving the solar system, there is some kind of problem with the ship, that because then none of them really understand the language, they don't really understand what's going on. And the cargo pod they are all in gets jettisoned onto a ice planet that they take to calling not Hoth, because they're not in Star Wars, so it clearly cannot be Hoth. Yeah.
That's the in-universe name is not Hoth.
Well, that's what the humans start calling it, because what else are you going to call it? Ice planet? Yeah.
I love it. That's great.
No, it's great. And, even with the scary slavery bits, it's Georgie, keeps up her intention. She's the one that, ends up coming off the plane to fight back against the guards, because she points out, hey, yeah, there's 2 guards with guns, but if we don't try something, we're definitely all getting sold into alien slavery, so, we can either die trying, or just die in slavery. Might as well give it a shot. And when they crash on this ice planet, it like a hole gets torn in the like cargo pod area that they're in. And because it's not like a shipping container, it's like there's a pen area, like cell that the women are in, and then like a table and a couple other things in the like it's like a storage room that detached from the ship. And there's this hole in the top right corner of the room, and Georgie gets elected to go up out of the crate and like see what she can find out and scout out, because they have a little bit of water and food for maybe a week. Maybe. But they all got banged up in the crash because there was no like jets or anti-gravity or anything. Like it just straight up the crate crashed on a mountaintop. And as they're like dealing with it, like they were very realistic about like, oh, it's cold. We're all from like Florida. This is really cold. If we're not careful, there's ice and snow and we're gonna get frostbitten. We need to huddle together to stay warm. We need to address food and water, because if we don't address food and water, we will definitely die. And again, I was like, oh dang, you're actually taking survival aspects into account here of like trying to bundle up as warm as possible. Making sure to take food and water with you when you go out to explore the outside. Thinking about if you can even breathe on this planet. And then Georgie goes and explores the planet, finds a river, finds a little bit of like brushwoods, because the average temperature is like 30 degrees or so, and almost gets eaten by a fish alien thing living in the river that she like backs up far enough away from to save herself from, and as she's running away to try and run back to the ship, gets caught in a snare trap and is hanging by her foot. And in continuing to reference Hoth, directly references like, this is like when Luke was stuck in the cave, but I don't have the force to draw this gun back to me. Oh no.
Unless.
Yeah, unless. And then the barbarian, who is like basically this giant blue Minotaur man, finds her unconscious and like carries her back to a cave and like starts a fire and wakes her up. And this is the third aspect where I was like, holy shit, this is really such a well-written science fiction book. Is not only do they not understand each other, they do not understand each other's language, but the book does shift to his perspective every so often for like a chapter, and it does a fantastic job of conveying from his perspective what human language sounds like. And so with the audiobook narration, you can tell generally what she's saying, but all the letters of the sentence are slurred together. And like his language doesn't have the soft G in Georgie, so it's almost like a J sound for him of Georgie. And like the language was just really impressive, both the writing and the audio production, to convey of he does not understand what she's saying, when you kind of understand like, oh, get the fuck away, but it's slurred together even more. So like, yeah, that was just very well written too. And then of course it's a smut book, so like they fuck all the time. The literal first introduction, the alien goes down on her, and she's like, well, he seems respectful about it, and it feels really fucking good, so yeah, I'm just gonna let him. Yeah.
So that's just like the first thing they do?
Yeah, it's explained in the book that there is a parasitic relationship, like there's a parasite that his people all have called a Kui, and that the Kui makes you like, it thrums and like almost like cat purring in your chest when you meet your mate. So he comes across Georgie and his Kui revs up and he's like, oh shit, I finally have a mate. Hell yeah. Because he doesn't understand that she does not have a Kui. So that's one of the things they learn over time. And like at one point she finds an old crashed ship computer that explains like, oh yeah, the Kui is a parasite that will help beings survive on this planet, but it also makes the reason it thrums is if two beings have a Qui in them, it makes them more likely to be genetically compatible. So the Qui has recognized that if she has a Qui, she will be genetically compatible with him in order for more offspring to help the Qui population. Like, that was probably the most fantastical scientific aspect, or sci-fi aspect, but it was still pretty well done overall, like, because his people were, like, survivors of a ship crash 300 years ago, which is why they don't really have much technology or success or anything, because they were never able to get off planet. And why he's a barbarian, but also, like, how they survived here. They were not native either, but they've adapted, and that's how they adapted, and that's how the women will adapt and survive. But overall, very well written, very enjoyable, and a pretty quick read.
Are you aware that there are 22 books in this series?
Yes.
It's insane.
Yes, I am.
It's insane. The list is crazy.
They were self-published, and then they got officially published, and from the person who introduced it to me said that as you expand outwards, it actually ends up turning into a really engaging, just general sci-fi universe that also happens to include a lot of fucking.
Wow, it's just like real life.
Yeah.
She wrote 7 books in 2016.
John, these aren't complicated books, they're just well written.
Well, it's still a lot of output.
It's not this. Okay, keep in mind that, like, 2 to 3 of those books would be one Stormlight Archive book. Or more.
Even still, those books are huge.
That's what I'm saying, though, is, like, she wrote 6 books in a year, but that's the equivalent of, like, a Brandon Sanderson book.
Yeah, he takes, like, 6 years to write one of those.
And again, his are much more complex.
Okay, fair enough.
She also, like, again, these are also originally self-published, so, like, didn't have as much in the way of editorship, so editing takes time. But yeah, that's my recommendation. Who'd like to go next?
I can go next.
What you got?
All right. So for a mini recommendation, I'm going to recommend all of the pre-Switch Pokemon games.
Pre-Switch?
Yeah.
That's
Pokemon
highly
Bank.
generic.
Pokemon Bank is shutting down on Pokemon Day 2027. So February, 27th, I believe. February 26th or 27th, 2027. So if you've already got the original hardware and you've already got Pokemon Bank, you better get playing them and transfer stuff over if you want to keep them in the current gens. Otherwise, just do what you want to do with them. So that's it for the mini recommendations. The main recommendation is going to be an audiobook I listened to called The House in the Cerulean Sea.
Oh.
Which has been recommended to me in the past, and I've had it kind of on hold in Libby for a while. And I listened to it last week, and it's really fun. It's kind of a fantasy in the same kind of genre as the Pixar movie Onward, where it's like, oh yeah, there's like fantasy creatures, fantasy races, but it's kind of also modern day Earth, where there's like certain technologies and bureaucracies and stuff and systems of government. But it's really more analogous to the X-Men, where like the magical creatures or magical people are like mutants in X-Men, and the government is kind of like trying to regulate them. Our main character is a government official that works for, what's the acronym?
DICOMY.
Yeah, and they pronounce it Dicamy. And it's the division of...
Department.
Oh, yeah. Department of...
Department in charge of magical youth.
Yeah, thank you.
I've got the Wikipedia article open.
Okay.
Fact check him for his own recommendation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, thank you. I do not have the Wikipedia article up at the moment. So his job is to kind of, or at least part of his job is to go around checking on these quote unquote orphanages that take care of these magical youth and try to kind of keep them, or try to like integrate them into society, kind of. But the orphan, like no one ever comes to adopt, so orphanage isn't like a great name for them. And that's like pointed out by the main character. And the main plot of the story happens when he's sent on like this top secret 1 month mission, like assignment, to observe this like super secret orphanage that's on an island, kind of off the coast of the last stop on the railroad. And there's like 6 kids, I think, that live there, between 4 and 6 kids that live there. And then there's also the master of the house, who is also kind of mysterious, and there's kind of a subplot of like, oh, kind of figuring out the mystery of this guy. What's his name? Arthur Parnassus is the name of the master of the house, and the main character's name is Linus. I don't remember his last name.
So with the like magical orphanages, is it like his job is to inspect the orphanages and be like, all right, these magical kids are doing pretty good? Or is it like you're by the laws of like magic tends to gather magical children into orphan locations, and we have to go disperse the magic and be like, no, reintegrate into society?
His job is to go to the orphanages and make sure that the kids are being treated okay.
Okay. The way you initially described it made it sound like he was like going in there and being like, okay, we got this magical orphanage here, so let's get you some parents. You need to get, like, you can't just be hiding away in this orphanage here. You need to be part of the world.
Yeah, no, the government kind of keeps them in orphanages.
Okay.
So, like, most of them are actually orphans.
Oh, yeah, that's how magic works.
Yeah. But, like, it's not part of his job to, like, try to get them adopted or anything.
Okay.
He's just trying to make sure that like, the stuff going on in the orphanage is above water.
Yeah.
Like, the kids aren't being mistreated, and, like, the end goal of his jobs is to, like, recommend the orphanage stay open or to close. And it's said, like, several times, like, yeah, I don't know what happens after they close. That's not part of his job.
I'm sorry, but can I have RJ elaborate on what he means by that's how magic works? When they're
think about many of the magic stories you've engaged with. Yes, how many of them had orphans? You've got the most famous magic orphan of them all, Harry Potter. You also have in the same series. Hang on. You've also got in the same series Neville Longbottom, who was also a magical orphan. You then have Mistborn, just off the top of my head. Vin was a magical orphan. You've got... I haven't seen Owl House, so Tanner's going to correct me as soon as I'm done saying this, but I'm pretty sure that's just a bunch of magical orphans.
No, I don't think any of them are orphans.
Damn it!
The main character's dad
Harry
is
Dresden
dead,
is a magical orphan. Odd Thomas, he's magical, and he's an orphan, functionally. The Witcher, magical orphan.
Okay, fair enough.
The Pixar movie Tanner referenced at the start of this, onward, is they still have a mom, yeah, but like their dad's dead, so that's kind of magically orphaned because they only have half the magic anyway.
Okay.
Does Luke Skywalker count? I think he counts.
Magical orphan, he's got magic powers.
He not technically an orphan, although I guess, well,
by the end he is.
Kind of a deadbeat dad.
Deadbeat dad who dies as soon as he finds him? I'd call that an orphan.
Yeah. A deadbeat describing him as a deadbeat dad is hilarious.
Rey, in the sequel trilogy, is an orphan. In the prequel trilogy, Anakin is an orphan.
He lives with his mom.
No, he's not.
Who dies?
After he's, like, basically an adult.
He's only,
still
like, 17. 16.
older.
All of the Jedi are magical orphans. All of them.
Well,
Here's a Wait, what were you gonna say?
They're more like kidnapped child soldiers than orphans, but I get your meaning.
To be fair, orphan does not necessarily mean dead parents. Children can be given up for adoption.
Okay. Sorry, James.
Why do
what
we
were you
think
gonna
that-
say?
Why do we think this is such a trope?
Because it
Especially
makes it easier for you to
for-
identify with an individual who has no background or family to disconnect you from.
That's interesting.
Because kids
one
can't
theory.
be exceptional when they have parents.
That's the rule,
Big
kids. Did you
orphan
hear
watch
that?
family.
Parents are generally icons and images of structure, rules, and authority, and any sane parent would not allow their children to go on the magical adventures that magical orphans go on.
Also true.
I mean, why do you think
I
the
think it's
Percy
also-
Jackson series, he gets dragged off to, like, the fucking summer camp, but all the fucking time? Because if he was actually spending any time with his mom, she'd be like, why the fuck are you doing this? No, you're a teenager, get back in school.
That is
Also true.
explicitly written out in the books as well.
See?
There's several times where like his mom is like, Percy, I don't want you doing this, but I know you have to, so stay safe.
All
there's
of the
also several
fucking
times where-
X-Men are orphans. And they all live at a giant orphanage called Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters, where he trains them to fight giant robots.
Also,
Sorry,
more child
Andrew,
soldiers.
and child soldiers, yeah. Tanner, you were saying?
About
Percy's
what?
mom?
Oh yeah, and then like there's also several times where Percy will go like, yeah, I'm kind of glad my mom doesn't know what I'm up to because she'd freak out right now.
See? Magic orphans. If you got a protagonist, when in doubt, make him a magical orphan. James Bond could be argued to be a magical orphan. In
Yeah.
this essay, I will.
My favorite magical girl, James Bond.
Magical girls are frequently orphans.
Yeah. He's awesome.
Sailor Bond.
Oh. Don't type that
It's
in.
better not
Don't
awaken.
look that up. Yeah, I was just gonna say.
But yeah, that sounds like a fun book, Tanner, and I have put it on hold. So I will see.
Okay,
I
yeah,
will listen
and
to that
it's-
in 6 weeks.
It's also like, well, no, I don't want to spoil anything there, but yeah, it's nice, and he's like, seeing his relationship grow with the kids at this orphanage is very sweet,
Hell yeah.
very nice.
Last but not least, James, what do you got?
All right. So I watched Spotlight the other night. Has anyone here seen this film?
I don't
That's
think I've
the-
heard of it.
That's the
Yeah, I haven't
Mark
either.
Ruffalo exposing the Catholic Church newspaper one, right?
Correctamundo.
Oh, I
yes,
was.
sir.
I didn't
So-
realize it was that Mark Ruffalo newspaper movie.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, but I remember when it was coming out, being interested in
This was one that I kind of like. I tend to avoid journalism movies because I find them often melodramatic. Journalists like love to have this kind of like, I'm on the edge, like I'm doing the real hard work. And it's like you're interviewing people and you're like writing, like the worst thing that's going to happen to you is you accidentally find the home of the Zodiac killer, like, and that is like a 1 in a million shot. I'm not trying to belittle my adopted profession, but I just think sometimes like movies about journalists, whether it's like All the President's Men or The Post or even this movie to a degree, can tend to like
So-
overly romanticize like
One
the
moment.
tough hard work. Yeah.
Discounting war
apologize.
correspondence.
I was
That too.
thinking of
That's
I was
fair.
thinking of Dark Water. That's the movie where Mark Ruffalo plays an attorney, not an investigative
Okay.
journalist. That's on me.
War correspondents are different. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot is actually a movie about a war correspondent featuring both Tina Fey and Margot Robbie in a surprising
Oh,
dramedy pair. But Spotlight, actually, I really enjoyed this movie. It won Best Picture. It was apparently the first movie to win Best Picture in like 60 odd years that had only won one Academy Award, which was Best Picture. The movie came out in 2015, but it takes place in 2001. yes, 9/11 does happen in the middle of the movie.
Oh shit.
But it is kind of just a plot point, not so much like it is not like a disruptive like force. Um, I would go so far as to say the movie is a bit basic or even boring. However, I think if you're looking at it realistically, like good journalism is just kind of matter of fact and told very straightforward with very few frills. And I think if that was the aim of this movie, then it really achieved that. I think all the performances are really fun to watch. I'm not from Boston. This movie takes place in Boston, so I can't really evaluate whether or not the accents are like intrusive in this film. Because I do not know if any of the actors are actually from Boston. I know for a fact Mark Ruffalo is not from Boston. He's from, does anyone know where Mark Ruffalo is from?
Wisconsin.
Yes, sir. Kenosha.
Yeah, actually?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Oh.
And yeah, I would say like it's a very, very good film. It actually does realistically kind of capture what it's like in some cases to be like journalists, like trying to get interviews with people, you know, like really chasing leads, like all the little work that you have to do to get the numbers in a story straight and stuff like that. I think it also does a really good job at demonstrating what stories are impactful and what ones can actually be harmful. There's a theme that develops that, like, if you want to create social change, you cannot just go after individuals. You have to address and prove systemic issues.
Mm.
So that is like, I think, very actually well articulated in the movie. And it's just very interesting to watch. I think this will probably be one that I will watch frequently as an older person because it's a very like calming movie. It's about a obviously an incredibly sensitive issue. It is a real story. Like the sex abuse in the Catholic Church was was broken by the investigative journalism unit in the Boston Globe in the early 2000s, and I guess this movie was praised for its like historical accuracy in how they sort of pursued the story. So I would really
Are you
recommend.
telling me the Catholic Church orchestrated 9/11 to distract from this story?
No, but there is like a kind of implication that the Catholic Church will use moments of misery to basically cast itself as like a really good person. Like there's essentially the cardinal in Boston they're trying to prove knew about the sex abuse scandal for decades, gives a very heartfelt statement on how the United States should respond to 9/11, and the journalists are kind of watching it around the TV at the Globe, and the people who know about what he's potentially done are essentially like,
Covered up.
fuck, like our job just got fucking harder. Like, how are we supposed to be like at such a moment in the country's history? How are we also supposed to write like they have a story coming out in like 2 months and they're like, shit, like this is gonna look terrible. So
Also, 9/11, no one's gonna care.
Yeah. And they I think the story broke in like 2002, at least in the movie. That's when it is published, in like just after the new year. So yeah, I would
Bam.
recommend. I think it's very accurate. I think it's fun. I actually saw that Catholic organizations, there was some kind of criticism because they don't go to really any great lengths to show like a good Catholic priest, is what I will say. The priests are either portrayed as
They're not
neutral.
investigating a story about good Catholic priests.
It's true. I still think for like narrative balance, there should have maybe been an example potentially even a scene. There are some scenes that are not strictly realistic. They were like dramatized or had details tweaked. I think like that probably could have just helped with like a relative narrative balance. However, a lot of the Catholic groups, including like very large and official ones, were basically like, this is like a realistic portrayal. This was like an essential moment in the history of the Catholic Church for us to like face this sin and like atone for it. And this is like an important movie that needs to be made. So obviously, I don't know how much that is like politicking or public relations, but I would like to take them at least partially at their word and believe that they kind of mean what they say. In that case.
it's better than
Yeah.
saying, "Oh my God, you're oppressing the Catholics."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's really funny too, I will say, because like Boston is obviously notoriously like the most Irish American city in the United States. So you'll have like scenes where, you know, the movie begins to develop themes about like, oh, well, we're not accepted in this town. Like groups of people, like we're not accepted in this town. There's us and there's them. But it's like Stanley Tucci playing an Armenian character talking about not being liked by Boston, like Irish Americans. So it's just, I just kind of find it funny because it's like, it's just, like an example. I don't know what you would say. Like, it'd be like, oh, I'm an Italian American. I'll never be accepted by the Irish Americans. Like, it's a very kind of, I don't know how to say, like trivial form of like white on white, quote unquote, racism or discrimination.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I just
that
find
weird, like-
something about that is kind of funny.
Not having seen the movie, it's giving me the impression of like a little bit of that like No True Scotsman, or like the Simpsons meme where the groundskeeper Willie is yelling about like the different groups of people, and it just becomes Scots and other Scots, but it's Irish and other
Yes.
Irish.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, or it's more like, quote unquote, like ethnic, European Americans just fighting with each other, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if you would call an Armenian an ethnic European American, but it's like pretty much, it's almost as close as you can get without like going into the Caucasus or, you know, the Middle East or whatever. I just found it, that was like a little side note. I just found that kind of funny because there are no, there is one of the main characters is a Portuguese guy played by Mark Ruffalo, like a Portuguese American. But other than that, like, for the movie begins to talk about themes of like, oh, well, you know, we'll never be accepted in this town. There's only 2 Armenians in it, and it's like, it's not like maybe other films that even The Departed kind of touches on race like a little bit more. Maybe not in the most heavily handed way, but the like race in Boston a little bit more. I just thought that part was like interesting to have an Italian American actor who's playing an Armenian who has like a short little bit about like, well, we'll never be accepted. And it's less about the race stuff and it's more about like being outside of a system that is multiple layers of kind of like people being buddy with each other, like being Irish, being Catholic, you know, in Boston, native to Boston, all this other stuff. So I don't really know. That's more of a tangent, but I'd recommend the movie. I think, yeah.
It still works. Like Irish and Italians had to earn their whiteness in America.
Yeah.
Like they were heavily discriminated against. I don't know when exactly they got like integrated into whiteness, but
that would have
like
been,
that was a thing.
would have been around post Civil War, a little bit into the civil rights movement there.
Actually, I don't know about that. I think it was like you would honestly probably have to say closer to like the 1980s where that stuff like fully disappeared, because like the Irish, when they were coming off the boats in the 60s, in the 1860s, were like just scooped up as cannon fodder for the Civil War. There were like riots about that in New York. Some of them,
I really should have phrased better.
yeah.
I did mean closer to like civil rights than like Civil War.
Yeah, no, it's fair. And then the Italians like were basically seen as like I don't, this is gonna sound terrible, but like I don't think the American public like really even thought about like Mexicans or Hispanics as an ethnic bloc until the Italians became like fully integrated by the end of the 1980s. Like I would bet dollars to donuts that's when obviously they were present and they were known, but I think like if you're talking about like the gangland violence ethnic stereotype, I really think like the Italians occupied that niche for the American like public and popular culture like well into the latter part of the 20th century. Outside of areas like Los Angeles or the Southwest where that was just more common anyway. Or that was the prevailing stereotype. But yeah.
Hell yeah.
Good movie. Would recommend.
And with that, our next segment, How to Be a Better Buddy, where we give some real and some humorous advice. Our question this week, how to deal with a friend that ignores you. With the further details, I asked a friend if he wanted to hang out sometime soon. He didn't respond, so after a week I followed up and made it more concrete. He said it didn't work for him. I then sent a vulnerable message explaining that I wasn't sure how to interpret the lack of response and that I'd leave the initiative with him if he wanted to meet up. He only responded with a thumbs up. I'm wondering if he's slowly trying to distance himself from me. It's not really the fact that he doesn't want to hang out that hurts most, but being ignored and not knowing where I stand. I've been ruminating about it for a week now, and it's really affecting me. How do you deal with it when a friend ignores you like this? And how do you stop overthinking what it means? So, we can all say the answer at the same time, right? That,
Can we?
sorry pal, he does not want to be your friend.
Oh, I was going to say it might be more of a problem with him than with the friend. See me not responding to RJ for 8 hours today, asking if I want to be on the show.
But like, you
8 hours
were-
is not a week.
8 hours is not a week.
Yeah.
And it's also I don't expect people to text me back right away. Especially because I'm usually in the middle of the work morning being like, hey, do you want a podcast tonight? And like, everybody's at fucking work. They're not going to reply for a minute. Compared to sending a vulnerable message explaining that you aren't sure how to interpret a lack of response and that you leave the initiative with someone else if they wanted to meet up. And instead of deigning to reply with anything even along the lines of words, you just give a thumbs up.
Yeah, that is pretty cold.
Pretty bad.
There's a chance that like, and you don't get to play this card often in a relationship because it like once is enough and it's very destructive and manipulative if you play more than once. But there is the chance that this person is just having like kind of a rough patch and it's like emotionally intensive, like that kind of vulnerable response, which is well taken for somebody who is like dealing with a lot of things themselves, can just kind of add to sort of a buildup, and it can actually have the opposite of its intended effect. It can instead make someone feel like even more pressured to not respond, if that makes any sense, because that now there's all this like weight that's been explicitly stated, like within the context of the relationship and the conversation.
I'm going to be honest.
So that's
I thought you might have been going towards the, he might have had stuff going on with his family.
It could be, well, it could be any number of things. It could be like an emotional thing.
I'm just
or it
poking
could be a
fun at how in
psychological
high
thing.
school you would sometimes not reply to us for weeks at a time and then be like, oh yeah, I had family stuff going on.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it could be something like that. Like I've definitely abused that kind of
Only a little.
trapdoor before, so I'm not going to like advocate for it. And I think you should do all you can to maintain like relationships and connections with your friends on a regular basis. Like that is obviously important. That's what makes them your friends. At the same time, like we also don't know the other part of this question, right? Like, we don't know if there was build up to this. We don't know if, like, it all starts with is I asked a friend if he wanted to hang out sometime soon. Has there been something that's happened recently? Like, what is it like when they hang out? Like, who knows? So all I would say is that, like, you should respond to your friends. If your friend, like, sends you something where they're like, hey man, like, I asked you to hang out, you've been kind of dodging me, feels kind of shitty, feels kind of bad, like, I'm just laying my cards on the table, like, do you want to be my friend? Like, what's going on? Like, now that is charged, but you still owe them a response, some kind of response. The whole, like, oh, I know what I'll do, I'll respond with a thumbs up to, like, a long, emotional message, is, like, diabolical. As my sister put it to me very recently, you can do that because it shows that you've acknowledged the message, but if they respond further, it, quote, makes them look crazy, unquote. So that's kind of a psyop thing to do, and I would not recommend it. It's one of the reasons why, like, you should, even if you're in that state, like, to remove even just pressure from yourself, self-preservationally, just say, like, hey, I'm really sorry, I'm kind of in a bad spot right now, I don't really feel like I can talk, I promise, like, I'll reach back out when I feel a little bit better. You're still my friend.
I
This is
would
valuable
add
to
on
me.
to that,
That
just to keep yourself from having an eternal escape route of not handling things, is say, hey, I'm in a bad spot. If I don't reach out to you within a month, follow up with me.
Yeah. Super fair.
Because then, A, they'll know you need space. B, it gives them, oh, this person does still want to talk to me. But if shit isn't, like, if they haven't reached out to me by then, I should follow up with them and make sure they're okay. John, Tanner, any other thoughts?
I think you kind of covered my thought, which was like, if I'm being generous to the friend that's not responding, like, yeah, maybe that could be a symptom of depression. But I think you guys kind of encompassed that already.
Good deal. Well, thank you all for joining this. Oh, sorry, John.
I was just gonna say those are pretty much my thoughts too. Like you said, it could just be they don't want to be more. That's real mean of them that they're not responding at all. But on the flip side, they might just be struggling and need some space. So we don't have the context to know. But
And neither do you.
Offered good advice.
Yeah. Well, with that, thank you all for joining this week.
Thanks for having us.
Love you.
Thanks.
Love you too.
You too, RJ.
Thank you to the band Problem of Interest for letting us use the song Living in the Moment off the album Cross Off Yesterday. You can find them on iTunes and Spotify. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever fine podcasts are sold. We're also on social media. Our Facebook is Better Buddies. Our Instagram is Better Buddies Cast. We post updates about the show. Our email is... Am I doing the whole thing again? Goddamn. Our email is betterbuddiescast@gmail.com. You can send us fan art, hate art, fan mail, hate mail, declarations of love and or war, icebreakers you want us to answer, or questions you need advice on. And last but not least, be a better buddy.
You want that Instagram link, James?
I saw that. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Wild.
Isn't it?
Wild to even do that as a joke. I think technically in Italy they could put you in prison for that.
For what?
Probably.
Did you see the Instagram link?
Oh, yeah, that awful garbage.
Horrifying.
That's a little harsh.
Look,
Man's just eating his pasta in his shower. Like, what's wrong with that?
I could fully get behind a video if it wasn't for the first part where they're directly spraying the water onto the dish. because I cannot. One of the grossest things to me would be having to put a mouthful of that into my mouth.
Yeah, you can see him spit out some of the water before he takes another bite.
Ugh. Like, bad enough having to sit with the shower blasting into you as you put the forkful into your mouth. Because, like, it'd be hard enough not to just get a mouthful of water with it. But to then, like, have it just spraying right onto the plate. Nope, Am not about it.